Well, guys, so good to see you as always. Feel like we never left. Fired up to get an opportunity to talk about our team. And as always, man, thank you, Jesus, just for an opportunity to coach these guys, man. So blessed and thankful. Last week was spring break. Was able to get some time with my family and just thinking about, what God's doing in my life and this team, and just so excited about the future and so blessed to be a part of it. I tell our players all the time, man, you woke up today, so you're here for a reason, right? We're all here for a reason. We're here for a purpose and excited for the future. So jumping into kind of what's kind of happened the past few months, and then talk a little bit about spring ball. Obviously, we have not done any football with these guys, so just want to make sure we're on the same page. There'll be questions about maybe some new players, and I could speak to how they've worked out, how they've trained, the mentality they have. But I'm not going to be able to speak to how they are as football players yet, right? That's the beautiful thing about the game we play. It is going to be very black and white here quickly in regards to how they perform. So when we got back in January, Coach Hilgart and our strength staff's done a really, really good job, man. The message for this semester has been on the hunt, right? We've won 3 straight conference championships. We've had success, and we've had a lot of things that we need to learn and grow from. And I got to make sure that every single person in this building, me included, is on the hunt, not trying to look for an easy way, not trying to make excuses. Find an answer, find a way, and that's what we have to do, right? And at Boise State, that's going to work. And that's what we've done the past few months, man. I'm really excited where our team is at. We've grown as a team every single day, every single week, and it's really been cool to see the amount of guys that we were able to bring in at the start of the semester that have really become a part of our family, right? We've turned up the unity on our team, and it's just been really cool to see that growth. Also went back and clearly defined who we are, right? Our culture. And we talk a lot about culture being 4 things: how you act, interact, and respond, and then culture is also what you allow. And so we define the 5 core values of our program. We put in the acronym CLIMB. We've talked about this before. But defining competition, like what does that look like? That's urgency to win and everything. But what does that look like? If you come into our building, we should act that way. We should interact that way. We should respond to adversity a different way. And what are we allowing, right? So competition, love, integrity, mentality, belief. We define how our players talk through it. What does that look like? What does it not look like? What should we look, and when we see it, like, that ain't working here. That's not who we are, right? So to find our core values. Then our play style, which is play fast, play smart, play together. What does that look like? When someone comes to practice, when Prater comes to practice, he should see that, right? And what does that look like? What does playing fast look like at practice? We talked about the effort, the physicality, all those things. That's what we really took a lot of time in our meetings and just chewing on it, making sure staff, players, this is what we are all agreeing upon and what we're all responsible for on the field, off the field. And then obviously ended with talking about what does built different really mean? And doubling down on, that's the mission that we have here, which is building champions on and off the field. But to do that, you have to have a group that is all in for their life to be changed and transformed. And as coaches, we got to make sure that we're not missing any bit to grow these players' spirit, soul, and body. Right? And that's been really what we focused on the past 2 months, man. Have had some really awesome meetings with our staff, awesome meetings with our players. Been really excited to see them grow and push themselves on the field. And then have had some really good conversations with coaches that aren't at Boise State, that are all over the country, from NFL coaches to Division I coaches, just trying to make sure that we continue to turn the heat up and we're on the cutting edge of what we need to do. So excited where we're heading to. Fired up for spring ball to start. Move spring ball later this year because I want to make sure that we got every bit of the winter training done prior to spring break. And I didn't want to do a couple practices, take a week off for spring break. Just really looking at it holistically, I think we're going to be better starting spring ball and then staying in it consistently and not having that spring break in between. So we'll start, obviously, first practice is Thursday. We'll go Thursday, Saturday, and then we're going to be on a Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday schedule pretty much for the rest of, obviously, March and April. So excited where we're at, obviously excited where we're growing to. We haven't played any football. I think every coach in the country in March is excited about their team, but I really am. There's a really cool vibe about this team. There's mentality about this team, and excited to get to work with them on Thursday. With that being, and then injury-wise, we'll have some guys that'll be out for spring just due to surgeries they had after season, more just to make sure they're 100% healthy for season. So Roger Carriel, Max Steege, Lopez Sanusi, Sherrod Smith, Dalen Matoyer, Ben Ford, Jake Steele, Kyle Cox will be the guys that are not going to be going through spring. We'll have a couple other guys that might be banged up because of we've had a couple soft tissue issues when we're going through workouts, but that they will be able to actually go through spring. But those are some ones that have had surgeries that will be able to do maybe a little bit of indie and some stuff, but will not be able to be involved in some of the team situations during spring because of surgeries right after season to make sure they're healthy. All right, so with that being said, guys, questions?
You got 2 or 3 position battles or 2 or 3 areas that you're really going to be focused on or anything going into camp?
Yeah, BJ, I mean, once again, without having any football, it's been really cool to see the returners step up and grow. And then also the new group kind of come and be a part of our family. We've started unity events every Friday. Have not done them in the past, right? And that could be us in here. It could be us in the indoor. All our players are broken up into unity groups, and really just seeing the connectiveness and the togetherness of this team. And we're really cool to see that grow. In regards to positions and different battles, my first answer is going to be every single position group needs to make sure that they show up and compete, because it is my job to move guys around. We're going to do that in spring. You're going to see guys maybe a little bit out of different positions, trying different things to see where are our best 11. And I told our team this. In spring, and me and Prayer were talking about, this is a seating chart, right? So there's going to be a guy that's at safety that might be at nickel, that might be at corner. There's going to be a D tackle that might move to O-line, a DN that might play D tackle. I'm going to do some of that with our staff so that when we leave spring, okay, who are our best 11, really who are our best 22, right, in all 3 phases. In regards to position battles, everyone's going to have to compete, BJ. Going into fall camp, I'll probably have a little better idea of like, hey, these are the 2 or 3 that are really gonna focus on more. Obviously, the secondary is one where we've had some seniors, right? So that's going to be one that I'm really excited to see growing. Receiver, O-line, D. So O-line, D-line is going to be one more guys. So there's guys that have graduated, that new players or players that have been here are going to have to step up. But I can't speak to 2 or 3 right now without seeing our guys go out there and practice.
Out of all 20 of those, do you expect those to mix and match, or half of them? Or,
yeah.
I mean, are you going that extreme?
Yeah, so going into this offseason, right, Terrence Brown was a huge hire for us. Think the world of Terrence. Play caller at Cal last year, known for a long time. Phenomenal defensive football coach, Prater, but an elite technician in regards to defensive backs. And he's worked with the corners, safeties, and so he's going to be running our whole back end with really DJ Killens also being his right-hand man, coach of the corners, also with Derek McMahon helping with the safeties, right? So that's going to be really the 3 that help our defensive back room. There's going to be times where Terrence will take the safeties, where DJ Killens will take the corners, but how they're trained and the drills they do, it's going to be them as a defensive back group. And so we're going to go into spring, and especially in that group, there's going to be guys that start at field safety, and 2 practices later are going to be a nickel, and then they're going to be from nickel to corner to safety, so that when we do leave spring, going into summer, it's going to be much more slated, where, hey, no, you are going to be field corner now. You are going to be a field safety, because we've got some talented kids that we got to see where is this all going to shake down. Does that make sense?
To hire for that position, for Terrence's position, were you kind of looking for someone who could do both safeties and corners and put them in the same room, or was it a fact of you hired Terrence and he could do both that you said, we'll put him in the same room?
A little bit of both. Terrence was the first call I made. Like, I've known him for a long time. I've wanted to hire him before. Think the world of him. So he was the first call I made and knew he could. Also wanted to make sure that Frank Miley being here and being a full-time assistant here was a huge deal to me, this program, and he makes us better in all phases, not just in our defensive line. So a couple things kind of went into that.
You talked about cool vibe and mentality. How is it different from last year?
Yeah, I think different. I'm not going to speak to different. I'm just going to kind of talk to you kind of maybe what I'm feeling right now, Prater, because I don't want to live in the past. There was a lot of things that I'm proud of last year, a lot of things that I know we have to be better than we were last year, and that's who you are as a coach. But seeing the competitiveness that our players attack everything right now, that's been really exciting for me. There's an attention to detail, Prater, right now that I love. And it's not coach-driven, player-led, right? Someone puts their left foot up and no coaches see, and then all of a sudden I hear a player call them out because you're supposed to have your right foot up. I'm like, we're on to something now. We're getting there, right? I'm seeing a lot more of that. I'm seeing a lot more guys around the building connecting with each other, not just on my phone scrolling. Like, I'm seeing that unity, and I'm seeing a really high attention to detail. Once again, haven't played any football yet. I can't speak to that, but I know those qualities help. And it says in the Bible, man, where there's unity, God commands a blessing. I know there's going to be a lot of that. That's going to help our team. And I'm seeing our guys just really hold high levels of accountability, right? If someone's not doing what they're supposed to do, it's not me or one of our coaches having to be the first one to be like, hey, man, what happened with this? I'm the one that steps in after I see one of the older guys in that position group get on, right? So that's different than it was last year, being honest with you, Barry.
Player accountability and off the field stuff. Have you seen anyone in particular kind of step up who, from end of last season even to now, really taking that big jump?
Yeah. Maddox Madsen, man, is doing a phenomenal job, man. Leadership-wise, the edge he's training with. I mean, that young man is on a mission, and you can feel it. You can feel it how it works. I've had, some coaches come to practice and watch, and they're like, that dude's different in how he's just training, just how he's moving. Love that about him. Another guy that stepped up that I'm really proud of his leadership and need to continue to grow is Jaden Mickey, right? A guy that played for us last year, going into his senior year. Man, seeing him with some of our younger guys and new players, pulling them higher. I mean, it's been awesome to see. Roger Carrion, even being kind of banged up and not being able to go through some of this stuff due to some surgeries and getting him healthy for season, which he will be. He has an edge about himself with making sure that all the little details that not just the offensive line but our team is focused on. And there's more, but those are the guys that I'd love to get a shout out to right now, man, because it's been really cool to see. And another guy that I want to give a shout out to, because I think this is not so much his personality, is Cam Bates. Cam Bates is going into his junior year. He is a no bad days, anything for the team guy, and he's stepped up in his leadership with the receiver group. And it's been so cool to see.
One of the things that the NCAA says in the fall, you can only start so many days in front of the season. But in the spring, the when is whenever you really want to do it in the semester. So what kind of went into deciding to move it late? What did you see that you think this might be an advantage? Did you talk to some other people, and what are you looking to get out of the later stuff?
So looking at it, first off, no portal window now at the end of spring, right? So that's something that was always, okay, how do you time up the portal window with, do you want to be practicing? Do you not want to be? Especially with us being a semester school, we're out of school that first week in May. I never really liked having a couple practices and then spring break, but because of the portal, it's like, all right, I want to get spring ball buttoned up, have our meetings so I have a really good idea of what's happening going into summertime. With that changing, it was one of the first things that I knew was best for our program. So that way we get a full 8 weeks of training in prior to spring ball. They have their spring break, and then we come back and we can hit it all the way to pretty much the end of the semester, put a bow on spring ball, have our meetings, and then go into the summertime.
A lot of new receivers as well on the roster. You talked about the DBs, new coach for receivers as well, and obviously you mentioned Ben Ford not being available for spring football, so what do you hope to learn about some of the new faces in the receiver room?
Yeah, Coach Witt has been an awesome addition to our football program, man. A coach that obviously has played in the NFL for 9 years. He's coached in the NFL, in our conference, a bunch of different places. What I've been so impressed with him is how quickly he's been able to build really good relationships with these players, and he's only been here for a couple months. But he takes time with it. He's always meeting with receivers in his room, just taking time to get to know them as people, because that's the only way to pull someone higher is that they know you truly care about them. And I had him, he presented his fundamentals to our staff. I have every one of our coaches present their fundamentals to our staff so they can be, coached and critiqued and talked. And he did a phenomenal job. And I've already seen our receiver room continue to grow and improve, and it's been awesome. New faces in that room. So excited to see them go out there and compete, right? Darren Morris is a senior transfer, right, that has done a really, really good job to date. Haven't played any football yet. Keem Wright, Nitro, junior college transfer. Excited about him. Rashawn Jones, we've talked about, who's a true freshman from down the street that I think the world of has come in and really done a really good job. Humonte Williams is moving at a level right now for a long receiver that I haven't seen here in a while. Needs to put it all together when we get to spring ball, but he's done an awesome job. I mentioned Cam Bates earlier in regards to his leadership and stepping up. And when we do our winter conditioning, we have drills and everything's graded. I think he won like almost every rep he did, right? So he's moving at an explosive rate and bringing people with him. So it's a room with some guys that have played. Obviously, Ben Ford going through the injuries. He's not going to be cleared for a while. But even Ben Ford doing a really good job pouring into these players, loving on and making sure they know the standard of what it takes to play here. But it's a room where there's some guys that have played, some guys that have played a little bit, some guys that have played more, some guys that haven't played at all, and all competing to see, okay, how am I getting in this rotation, have an impact? And there's some talent in that room, and I'm excited where they're going.
Nate Potter is the first returning OC Madsen's had. I think Zach Hill for quarterback coach. What's the significance of that?
I mean, it's everything, Johnny. I mean, that's what, in the landscape of college football where you see coaches leave all the time, players leave all the time, I'm trying to create consistency here because that's the way where you can truly grow. There's time for change. There's time for new blood to come in. I think that creates growth as well, but especially offensively, so excited to have our offensive coordinator here, right? Going into year two, being able to learn from year one and help the staff look to see this is how we're going to be so much better in year two, right? Having a position coach that can do the same thing, or they're the actual one that were with you during the season. It's way different when a new position coach comes in and says, hey, this is what I would have done, but no, I was with you all season last year. These are the ways we are going to be better. And I think when just speaking about Maddox, and I think of our offense as a whole, but especially for our quarterback, it's huge having his quarterback and play caller coordinator back because they've already been able to have really good conversations of where they're going to be able to grow to. And I think even for me, and I should have talked about this earlier, I made a lot of calls and research just on practice, right? We've done practice similar here for a lot of years. And there's some really good things we do in regards to practice. But practice is going to look different for guys that go out there. Like, there's going to be some changes. There's some things that I want to make sure our guys are competing and respond to adversity. Things are not going to be ordered the same way. Guys got to go out there, and once that ball gets put down, there's going to be a heightened level of urgency with our practice.
About building culture, and you listed 4 things. It was act, interact, react, and what you allow. When did you define all those, and who kind of who had input on that, I guess?
Yeah, I mean, stole it from somebody. I can't even, to be honest with you, probably off the top of my head, even speak to it. I'm sure Coach Pete had a role in it, maybe some videos online over the past few years, but it's something I've always just, because culture gets thrown around so much. Like, what's the culture? It is, but what is that? And so for our players, we talk about, like, it's how you act individually, it's how you interact with each other, it's how you respond, right? Because you can have a culture when you hit some bad times, how you respond to those moments is your culture. And the last part is culture is what you allow. And we talk, what are we allowing? If you walk on the practice field and no player calls you out, we allow that. We can say we're a culture that practices really hard. No, you don't. You allow dudes to walk. Who are you? And how are you living that every day? And how are you bringing that to life?
Marco at one point in time last year, and you mentioned that there's no transfer portal after spring ball this year, right? And even last year, after spring ball's wrapped up, you go into the portal and the roster's still fluid. You bring like a record-setting amount of guys mid-semester and they're here. So I don't know, does that allow you to get form continuity earlier? Like,
absolutely.
Have you noticed the benefit of that already?
Yeah, I mean, as crazy as January was, and I've talked to other coaches about this, where, I mean, just being honest with you guys, I mean, you're trying to, I've got receivers on campus for a trip as I'm still trying to hire a receiver coach, right? I mean, it's running and gunning. But once all that was over and we're in January workouts, we got our team. You got our team. We got our coaches. We got our players. And I'm so excited for 12 months just to pour into these kids and help them grow to be the best version of themselves. That's why we started doing unity groups on Fridays. This is our team. And that's why I tell, like, every single one of them has value. How are we going to pour into them and grow them? Because that's why they're here, is for their life to be changed. And that's what I'm so excited for, to where it's not, all right, we're going to spring ball. Let's see kind of what we got. I hope Jay's going to be there when it's over, but you never really know. We don't have that, right? It's an awesome opportunity for us to pour into these kids And they're locked in too. They know, Coach, I'm here. Let's go do this thing. And that's that vibe, almost similar to your question earlier, Prayer. That's been a really cool vibe, especially this time. Because, guys, this time last year, let's be honest, it was different. And it was different across the country because you knew April 15th was coming. Now you got your team. Pour into them, grow them, make them the best version of themselves. That's what I'm excited to do.
Sire and Dylan, what's the specific plan for those two this spring? And then how are you going to incorporate the 3 new guys in?
Yeah, so Sire and Dylan, I mean, they're going to really get majority of the 1 reps, right? We'll get some 1 and 2, but they're going to pretty much, our goal going in is I want to make sure they get dang near 50-50 of the 1 reps, right? And we're going to do some 2-spot stuff to get them some more and then give opportunity. And they will both get some of the 2 reps because it's, once again, we need them to get their work, but it's going to be dang near split down the middle. Cy Gaines, Dylan Riley, split down the middle. And then being able to work with Keelan and Harry to make sure, okay, how are they getting their reps? JG, he's not going to get reps this spring because he came in with an injury, but he's going to be healthy in the summertime, ready for season. So those 4 are the ones we're going to be repping, with Sire and Dylan really splitting the reps straight down the middle.
Completely recovered from those injury concerns that he had late in the season.
Yeah, he's ready to roll.
And then guys like Ben Ford and the other injured guys, do you still expect them all back for fall, or what's?
We do. Ben Ford is the one that he's working his absolute tail off, and we are absolutely counting on him to be ready. But it's probably going to be close.
You talk about Dylan and Cy. I mean, just both those guys going through their first real full college seasons last year. How are they? I don't know if difference the right way to put on it, but how are they different maybe this time this year than maybe last year? What was the offseason been like for them?
Yeah, Sire and Dylan, man, they've learned so much over their time now at Boise State. And they both have a lot of game reps, to your point, Jay, to really learn from, to grow from, and a lot of things even off the field to learn from. I know what it feels like to not have a good game, and I know what the outside pressure feels like. I also know what it feels like to have a good game, and everyone's talking about me and how I respond to that. That's kind of the stuff that people don't know, which is that's a healthy growth for a player when they've been through those moments. So Dylan and Cy both have been through that. They've been through the good and the bad, and it's been really cool to see their focus this offseason. Right? I've really seen Sire step up as a leader too. Needs to continue to grow, but really seeing the edge he trains with. Dylan Riley is that quiet competitor, man. I mean, he goes to work, and it's really cool to see his game continue. I mean, he's one of the strongest I've ever seen him. He's going to continue to grow his body. So both those guys, games on the rise. Like, Coach J-Mo does a phenomenal job with our running backs. And then even bringing in the running backs we did, like, there's going to be really good competition in that room. That's obviously a room that we put a premium on, is the running back room. But Sire and Dylan, I'm really proud of where they're at and being able to go into spring and now be able to compete again. We're going to have 15 practices where it's like, put the ball down, where are we growing to? Because both of them know there's a lot of meat on the bone from last season.
What are you looking at there? And were you expecting Ty Benefield to go pro, or were you expecting him back next year? How did you plan for that? And what did you make of him end up deciding to go to LSU? Yeah.
I will say this on the Ty Benefield. I absolutely did not see him leaving here. I thought it was either going pro or staying, and that was our conversations all the way up. Broke my heart that he left. He is a son to me, and I will love him forever and wish him nothing but the best. And I miss Ty, but that's really what it was up into that.
Just the position in general.
Yeah. In regards to the safeties, Jaden Mickey is a guy that could play a lot of positions. Played nickel for us. We're going to play him at some nickel, at corner, because he's one of the best cover guys on the West Coast. I mean, Jaden Mickey can flat out cover. So we're going to kind of move him around. Derek Ganter was able to play and start some games, right? So him playing that boundary safety, we're also going to have some competition there. Travis Anderson's played. We're going to move him around. Kyle Hall's a guy that's come in from junior college, has done a really good job. Roman Tillman from South Dakota. Transfer's been able to show up and do some good things. Cameron Jamerson is a guy that he came from TCU. He played corner. We might even play him at some nickel. We're going to move guys around a lot in the safety room. We got Josiah, who's been here, played on special teams, long, athletic. Arthur can run, long, athletic. Where are we going to put these guys? That's why it's a seating chart. And so for us, especially with safety, because your point, BJ, there's a lot of question marks how that's all going to go, we're going to use spring ball for it. So there's going to be guys that start at boundary safety, and 2 practices later are going to be at field safety. And then maybe 2 practices later are going to be at nickel. That's all going to happen in spring. So then by the time we get to summer, those guys are really in the positions they need to be in. And even at corner, I mean, we've got, obviously, even with Sherrod Smith being out for spring because of the surgery, getting healthy, I mean, there's going to be high competition at the corner position now. I mean, we got some dudes there. So just really excited to see it all shake down. And the whole defensive back group as a whole has really stepped up this offseason to date. So really excited to see it all shake down.
Linebacker room, it seems like there's massive opportunity there with Rip and Phelps, and then 2 or 3 guys coming back, and then 4 or 5 new guys. How much can this position group evolve in the spring?
Has to, right? Huge. Have to evolve, have to grow, and create really good, dependable depth. Proud of Bowen. I mean, I think Bowen could be one of the better linebackers we've had here. Jake Ripp's played. Excited for him to continue to grow. We're able to bring in some guys. Haven't seen them play football yet, right? But excited to what they can do, and excited to see some of the guys that have been here and where they can be. I think Sam Brooks has an opportunity to have an impact. Sincere Brackett's been here. Montetuioti's done a good job this offseason. Logan Brantley's, a guy that come in from Kansas that has the skill set to be really good. Then we got some true freshmen that are cutting their teeth and doing a good job. So it's going to be a position that we have to grow from and see who are our best 4 leaving spring ball. Right now, I couldn't even tell you who those top 4. Bowen Phelps. I know Bowen's dang good. Outside of that, who really are those guys? No, Jake Ripp can be really good, has shown he can. Can he be consistent day in and day out on the field and make those plays in space? That's what we're going to continue to go see.
Do you like the size of your linebackers, or do you feel like they need to be a little bit bigger?
The game has changed, Prater, to where it is a game of space, right? We got to defend 53 1/3, and the teams we play, when I say teams we play, college football, majority of it's all about space, right? They're trying to put our linebackers on tailbacks in space and empty. So the size doesn't matter to me. To play linebacker here, you have to be able to run. And that's college football. You look at the linebackers that get drafted, they're all going to be 4.5, 4.4 guys in the 40 because you have to be able to run. So to me, it's not so much about size. At some point, I have to have the physical to be able to get off blocks and make the physical tackles. We need to grow that. But I got to make sure that our linebackers can run and make plays in space.
You hope to use spring at all to get ahead of the game in special teams? Wasn't where you wanted it last year. Coach Collins probably as well. Is there any other emphasis in the spring where you can maybe figure out more on special teams?
Absolutely. Yeah, it's just like anything, man. We've spent the past few months diving into it, and not just, all right, this is what we're not doing well, but then what are we going to do to change it? Right? How is it going to look different? That's why we're going to change some practice, do some things. Special teams wise, we're going to do more walkthroughs, right? We've done more meeting time. We're going to do more walkthroughs. So whenever there's OD, lift, and meetings, we're going to have a special teams walkthrough in there. Anytime, even in some of our winter conditioning, we've been able to do some special teams drills without a football, but getting our guys used to these drills so that we can be much better on special teams, and I know we will.
You brought up Bowen. I don't know if this is a question for you or Dale, but any significance of him slipping into the 1 now?
Man, Bowen and me talked, I don't know when we talked about him changing to jersey number 1, and I remember the first time he brought it up, I'm like, absolutely not, right? Like, I'm like, ugh, like linebacker wearing number 1? Come on, dude. He was relentless, and I said, I kind of gave him, hey, this is some things I want to see from you and want to see. And Bowen Phelps is a phenomenal kid, and it's something that he's always wanted to do. And so guys come in, I throw them in just jersey numbers. It's dang near like just pick it out of a hat. Everybody wants the single digits and these cool numbers, and no new players get that on my wall. I'm like, nope, everything here you earn. Now guys come in and ball out. I gotta pony up, and so he has done a really good job. And so I told him, hey, what number do you want? And he said he wanted number 1. I said, okay. And then he's a number 1.
Anybody have 0 or asking for 0?
No, yeah, that one, I don't think I've given that one out yet today. Yeah, I got 3. Like, I keep some till after spring. So there's some guys that, I'm not going to say names, like, Coach, I want the number. I'm like, I need to see more from you in spring, because I live in a reality where all our players, like, I got to make sure everything is very clean. Because if I do something for BJ Raines and not for Prater and there's no reason for it, that's not going to be good, right? So I got to make sure that all that's really clean, and that if someone's in a jersey number, I'm like, yeah, well, he's a better football player than you right now. Not that BJ's better than Prayer. I mean, that's up for discussion.
Jackson and Cash, over the next month, how does Spencer Danielson perfectly visualize the way he wants that to go?
Yeah. We're going to get a lot of reps in spring. Like I said, we're going to two-spot some things. We're going to make sure our quarterbacks get the reps they need. So in a perfect world for me, I want to leave spring where we know exactly where they are at and then where they are growing to in the summertime, Predator, right? So I don't want there to be any gray of how good is Max going to be for us this season? How good is Cash going to be for us this season? Jackson, Maddox. That's why we're going to make sure, not just for them, but our position groups as a whole, where I need to leave spring where there is tons of video evidence exactly where you were when we started spring, and here it is when we're ending spring. So you can see the trajectory they're on, and then that's where we take over and really create these depth charts going into summer. So that's going to be the biggest thing for me, Predators. Okay, we got some new quarterbacks. Where they started, where they ended, okay, this is the trajectory you're on, because then that's going to help us figure out, okay, what is our depth chart going to look like in the summer?
This is your third spring. How does it feel different leading into this one as compared to this time the last 2 years?
Good question, Bob. I think just like anything, the more you're in a certain responsibility or seat that you look back on the past of kind of where you're at. Where I said I'm a big lessons learned guy. Like I went back and read, what did I learn from last year's spring ball? What did I learn from season? And after our season, man, I took a lot of time just to really think about where we are and where I'm excited us to grow to. So I would say, if anything, just being able to really take some time and know some of the things that are in front of us and where we got to grow to. More passionate than ever about this team and where I know we can grow to, even in this crazy landscape of college football. I know without question you can be successful here. I know without question the best is still to come here. And that's not hype. That's not, well, Coach D is supposed to be nice. No, I know we can. Now, I'm not saying I got all the answers today, but I do know we have the right people. And I'm excited more than ever to go climb that mountain. And so I would say there's even more of a strength in my spine more than ever about knowing what I'm called to do here and how to do it.
The offensive line, you got a couple guys gone, obviously a couple starters leaving, and then you got some injuries you mentioned. What's that group going to look like this spring? What are you trying to get out of that?
Yeah, the mentality of our team will be on our offensive line, BJ. And there's some question marks going into spring, right? So we have some guys that aren't going through spring ball that we wish we would be able to, right? But they need to get healthy and make sure they're ready for season. So it's going to be a lot of rotating guys around and a lot of competition. And we need to see our offensive line take a big step in spring ball. And I know they will. Coach Keene, I think the world of, is a proven developer. It's going to be even awesome to have Chris Strasser here, too, to help with our offensive line and help grow that. We know he's a lead at what he does. And I believe we have the right guys. There's some guys that have not played a lot for us yet but have been here. And that I know sat in my office and said, Coach D, I am ready. And I'm like, okay, continue to show me. So I'm excited to see those. That's what you have spring ball for. So with the injuries, BJ, with some of the new players we've brought in, it's really hard to sit here and be like, hey, this is what I see the lineup being. I do know we're going to have some really, really good competition. And once we get all our guys healthy and we go into summertime, our O-line is going to be ready to roll.
Mason and Zach gone, who could snap the ball for you guys at center?
Stu for sure. Even though he's going into his sophomore year, Stu's going to be a really good offensive lineman for us. Jason Steele can snap, and then we're working with some other guys that can also snap to work through that center position. We'll work through those in spring. Parker Perkins, we've got a couple other guys we'll work through.
Rule with 16, I think you can send 16 on the road to recruit now. How much has that changed in one of those windows in terms of this calendar year?
Yeah, so going on the road recruiting opens up again in April, mid-April, and goes through May. You can have 10 coaches on the road. What has changed is now usually you have 10 countable coaches. Let's say one of them can't go on the road. You can do a waiver and stuff, but really that means now you just have 9. Now with having 16, you can still only send out 10, but you've kind of got 6 in the bullpen that if someone's from an area that can help you recruit that area, you can kind of sub them in and out. So for us, in the spring, when I'm April, May, I don't know if it'll affect us a lot because our 10 coaches are going to – they have areas, they have position groups to go recruit. Where I am excited about is in season, being able to potentially have some guys where the coaches are focused on their position group, or we go on the road somewhere, they can go watch a high school game because they can be one of the 10 that we sub in. So still kind of working through it. It's a new rule. I'm sure there's going to be some things that we do utilize it in spring, but I do think it helps. It's just something that I'm still kind of working through of how we make it work together.
You have to identify those 6 who can evolve.
Yep. No, from what I've been told, you have to identify those very soon, who your 16 are. And that's why they made it 16, because I think once it's set, those are your 16.
I'm assuming you're in support of the new targeting rule?
I am, yeah. I got to still kind of dive into it a little bit more, going through it. But yes, I'd say overall I am. That's the overall I am.
Look at the schedule. I haven't talked to you since the schedule came out, and just kind of the weird last week, flex game.
Yeah, the flex game's an interesting one. I think everyone's kind of working through that. I think just like anything, once we get to it, it'll work itself out. But definitely different. I think kind of even planning travel, kind of have an idea of who we think it would be, right? But still kind of, it's a little bit of a different deal. Excited for the Pac-12 though, man. I'm really, we've been kind of in prep for this for a while. Now it's here. We've got our schedule. Been blessed to be, the Mountain West was awesome for us. We had some amazing years in the Mountain West, but excited for what's next. Excited for the Pac-12. Really fired up about our non-conference schedule. I mean, you play one of the best teams. I'm sure Oregon will be ranked, I don't know, somewhere in the top 5 when we go play them game 1 on the road, which is huge. Then you come home to play one of the best teams in the country in Memphis at home on the blue, right? So I like how the non-conference went, going to Western Michigan, has like one of the best returning teams in the country. Really good non-conference. And then you roll into a Pac-12 with some new coaches that are going to do a really good job in some of the best environments. So I think overall, BJ, just like anything, you've got a schedule that if you handle business, you have the report card to go play in the college football playoff, right? And week in and week out, for our fan base, they should be really excited about the games we're playing. There's not one game where you're kind of like, all right, we'll see. Like every single one of those games is going to be exciting for our fan base, and that's the way college football should be, right? And nowadays, for the college football playoff, you need to win dang near every single one of them to give yourself a shot. So I'm fired up about it.
Pro Day tomorrow, what are you looking forward to there?
Just excited, one, to see a bunch of our guys that haven't been able to see in a while, right? I was able to see Jeremiah, Marion earlier today. They're back in town. Just excited to see them and just see them go cut it loose. And they've worked their whole life for moments like these. Just excited to let them go let it rip. These are those moments. And some of our guys that do Pro Day tomorrow, some of them, nothing might come from it. They might get a call, some might fall through. But this is still something that they'll be able to tell their kids about and really finish their time at Boise State the right way. Excited for them. Excited to go see and then there's going to be a group of guys that do turn this Pro Day into getting drafted and or finding a really good free agent. So just excited to see our players, man. Excited for our current team to see them again and just show the development. Show the development and, okay, you come to Boise State, these are the things that you can accomplish. Appreciate you guys.